Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair, and I have a few laptops today. I'm not sure how many of them we will look at in this video. They're all dead or something similar. So this is one of them. This is a Yoga 5730, 8th generation i7, so a few years old. This one apparently doesn't boot up or doesn't power up. I think the first thing I will do with this is see if I can connect it to a power supply and see how much current it's drawing, see what it's actually doing. This is a USB-C, so if I connect a power bank to that via a USB-C analyzer, we can have a look. Let's see. For Nursey. Well, 10 watts, something's happening, it's doing something, yeah. Doesn't power up, the wattage doesn't change. Don't see anything lit up. But at 10 watts, something must be getting warm, yeah? So, it could just be charging the battery. I mean, it's half an amp at 20 volts. Let's see if I can figure out if something's warming up on it. Yeah, I can feel something warm in this area. Okay, I'll just disconnect that. We can open it up and have a look to see what it's doing, or rather see what's getting hot. Okay, the battery looks okay at a glance, nothing particularly bulged, nothing obviously wrong with that, unless it's the other side. Let's get the thermal camera and see what's warming up. So yeah, it's drawing about 10 watts at the moment. You can see it there, okay. I've taken the macro lens off so I can get a bit of a look at this. It's an overview basically. 40 something, 58 degrees, something over here. Oh! Okay, that's hot. It's whatever's under this heatsink. And this is pretty hot as well. This is pretty toasty. This VRM, 60 odd degrees. And that's pretty warm. Well, we can see what was under the heatsink. Yeah, the fan wasn't running, but then this should have been in standby. Yeah, it wasn't powered up as such, just had power on it. This was getting hot and that one was getting hot. I don't know about the other VRMs under here. We can look at the resistance from these two though, which is probably going to be low anyway because the big chunky ones, therefore they provide a lot of power to something. Almost certainly this chip, which is going to be the processor and the memory controller, the GPU I'd imagine, all in that one. So this was toasty, this VRM, but there's quite a high resistance there, yeah, although it was getting really warm. And this one, 560 ohms, come back to this again. Yeah, kilo ohms, so there's no like short there as such as I can see. Let's power it up again. We'll get the thermal camera. I'll put the macro lens on, we'll point it very much in the direction of this chip I think, for now. Right, power. On. What's getting hot? Well, 10 watts. Not that chip though. Something here is 108 degrees. Yeah. Something in that area. Okay. Let's see if we can find out what it is. Power again. It's whatever it is here. That thing. Okay. It's that thing. Oh, in fact, it melted this. Yeah, it's that hot. What is it? Capacitor. Okay. Yeah, and that's the one that effectively melted the end of my little plastic stick. So this is a MOSFET, or possibly a dual MOSFET. There are some connections underneath it as well. Okay. We have a inductor here. Because there's only the one MOSFET, I'm thinking it's a dual MOSFET, and then these 3 capacitors. And I think we can clearly see that all the capacitors are actually in parallel with each other. So the short would appear on all of them. We have this small one. Yeah, we can read short, 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 short. I think it's fairly obvious in this case this is the faulty one. It looks that way at least. What value are they? Well, I don't know, but because they're all in parallel like that, I'd say they're on the output of this VRM. The small one, I'm confident enough, will be something like 100 nanofarads, and these will be some farads, maybe 10 or something each one. But I can also say with a good degree of confidence, if I unsolder that one and the short goes away, then this may well work without it fitted. We'll just have some less capacitance. I can always then fit a capacitor, and my guess would be something like 10 microfarads would be a good guess, I think. So let's unsolder that one and then we'll try again, see what happens. Do we still have 10 watts going somewhere? Is something still getting hot? Does this actually boot up? So we'll get the capacitor off the board. I'll try the hot tweezers. This might not be the best method, but well, we can always try something else. I'll add a bit of leaded solder onto this one, if I can. Looks like a bit of flux will help. Not so much as I might have thought, but yeah, maybe. I'm just wondering if I can actually get in here with these tweezers. No, and also you notice when I'm touching this, the solder isn't flowing onto it. So I need to warm this area up. There's obviously heavy power planes, there's ground planes in this area. So I need to get a bit of warmth in it first. Okay. Not unsoldering it, I just want to warm it a bit. Let's have another go. So try to add some solder. Still not very successful, and I'm struggling because of this one next to it to get the tweezers in. I can't easily come in the other way either. Let's try it now. So warm one end, try get enough heat into it. I could try 2 soldering irons, of course. Can we get heat in this way? Not readily. Okay. How about this? Yes, off my board. Let's see if the short has gone now. Yeah, short's gone. I won't clean this up just at the moment. I'm just going to put the heatsink back on, connect the battery, the screen, and see if it boots up. If it does, then I'm going to fit a capacitor in there. As I say, probably a 10 microfarad. Okay. Okay. Battery. Yep. What does it do? Well, it's drawing a lot less power now. Okay. Orange lights come on here. Now the wattage has gone up. It's charging the battery. Yeah, it does say fast charge on this. Okay, so quite a bit of wattage there. I'm guessing the battery was completely flat though. Let's see. Light goes out. Bleep. And it's saying real-time clock error in the corner. You couldn't see it. Okay. Oh, it's booting up now. Right. So all I need to do now is just fit a capacitor and this one will be ready. Yeah, even booting Windows, look. I mean, to be quite honest, this would probably work just fine without that capacitor. But, well, I may as well put one in. Yeah, and it loaded up without the capacitor fitted, but there's password on its fingerprint by the looks of it. Okay, let's put the capacitor in. Slightly untidy that, but it's a bit of a strange size, this capacitor. I'm just going to show you. So that's an 0805 and that is an 0603. It's definitely smaller than the other ones. This may be slightly bigger, but these are all in parallel. So I've actually got it soldered down on both ends, and because I couldn't quite get to the pad here, I actually just bridged it to the capacitor next to it, because they're in parallel. So from this end, clearly a connection, no short, but that is connected to there. Okay, so that'll do. This is really quite dry, so I'm going to put new thermal compound on while I'm here. It's not very good. It's certainly not the worst I've seen. Okay. I'll put it back together now, then we'll power it up for the last time, hopefully. Okay, and there it is working. So I'll put this on one side, let the battery charge up. It does show it is charging, but it's very low. So in fact, I will shut this down and let it charge up. Okay guys, so that's fixed. Yeah, and I think this really demonstrates a couple of things. So first of all, that was not so difficult to repair. The main factor here was just having the right equipment. Yeah, so thermal camera, but you can get them fairly cheap these days, a decent soldering iron and the ability to use it, and that's all this needed. Yeah. Another point, this came to me from another repair shop, not directly. Well, actually the path was another repair shop to Handy Andy at the local phone repair shop to me. And one thing I know is that not all the screws in this were the same colour as each other. So whoever's had it before, they've opened it up, they've had a look. Yeah, they must be able to see something's getting hot. But they couldn't repair it. And that leads me to the third thing, which is why not? Because that was a profitable repair. Didn't take very long. Didn't need components. Okay, it needed a capacitor. You could take one from a scrap motherboard. But to be quite honest, as I demonstrated, it worked without the capacitor, and it probably would have worked absolutely fine without the capacitor. Yeah, sure, it's not best work practice, but it would have worked. Yeah, and I'm sure you will agree with me on that. Last thing it demonstrates, not all laptop repair is difficult. Yeah, sure, if you are a laptop repair shop or something similar, or even it's a side hustle, you don't have to repair everything. If it's difficult, complicated, can't get the parts, can't diagnose a fault, or just unrepairable, you don't have to repair everything. You can be selective, okay? And that's one of the jobs you should select. Okay, that's my final thoughts on it. I'm interested to hear yours, so chat with us all down there, and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.